Y'all got jobs?
Now look, I go first. Yes, I
do. You can alleviate the struggle if you go get a job.
The Social Cypher Podcast.
What's up? What up, world? Hey, we are back again. We're not stopping. Ain't no stopping us.
Ain't no stopping.
Hey, ain't no stopping.
Ain't no
Welcome back to the Social Cypher Podcast. I am one fourth of the group of hosts, and my name is Hop. Okay, and I got my colleague below me. I don't know where I am on your screen, but go ahead and yourself. Like, go ahead.
This is your boy Antonio Ramsey, aka Mr. Funk Trap, and we are back, fellas. My brothers, how y'all feeling? How y'all feeling?
The Eddie Kane of the group.
Eddie Kane.
Eddie Kane, huh?
Gotta upgrade. Look at H8. My man.
You.
And the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Black Tiger Woods.
That's me, your boy, Lawrence Bro, aka LB.
L to the boogie.
The big value Tiger Woods.
The big value.
The big value Tiger Woods.
Oh, wait a minute, I gotta do it. Here we
go. I like the lighter.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage, Green Weenie. He's not a weenie. Give it up for Ziggy.
Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts and panties.
Brussels sprouts.
That's a healthy balance.
Yeah, Brussels sprouts and
balance.
panties.
When you add the Brussels sprouts to it.
Definitely.
But it's okay though. I feel like every day it's getting better.
Yeah. Know what got better? I see you at H8 Triple HD. That's
you know I don't upgrade it.
Oh man, spent that stimulus right now.
Shout out to Apple. They always look out, you know.
He invested his package already.
You gotta invest just into yourself.
Good investment, man.
You go ahead.
You're stupid, dog.
What we got on the plate today, fellas?
Man. Who talk? I'm sorry, man. Go ahead, brother. My bad.
Well, I was just gonna say today, y'all already know what we're gonna start with. So I mean, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. We gotta catch up on our social buzz, man. Listen, so I don't know if y'all have been watching. So this social buzz is kind of a 1 and 2 because y'all know I do my movies a little later in the show. Yeah. But I gotta start with one of the movies that I'm gonna be adding later on. So I'll only be doing 4 later. But McMillions, have y'all heard of it? Let me start there.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about, man.
McMillions. Okay, listen. McMillions is on Hulu. So what this is about, y'all know how McDonald's does the Monopoly games, right?
Yeah.
I never win.
I'm gonna tell you why you never win.
I won a large fry before though.
That ain't winning, man. You can buy that.
That's something, bro.
That ain't winning. Look, what was happening was the reason why you wasn't winning LB was because they was rigging the game. Basically, it was a dude named Uncle Jerry, like on some like mafia type mob stuff. But basically, they were giving out $1 million pieces to certain people to win on purpose. So what happened was it was this agent by the name of Doug Matthews. He was the one that kind of figured out everything. He started the kind of the tumble road that was going on. Yeah. But my whole thing is, it just put in perspective to me how much things that are out there that people are putting their money into that's probably rigged. Like this whole time, people think they got a chance to win a car and $1 million, but the whole time they giving it to the other people. Wow. So that's why you never won, LB. Wow. It's rigged, man.
Oh, it kind of reminded me of the election last year.
Oh, just gonna say that. Just gonna say that.
I mean, 4 years ago. Sorry.
Wow.
But my whole thing is, how do you feel that something like that is even possible
to happen
that big? Yeah.
Can I go?
Go for it.
I feel hoodwinked. What it is? Bamboozled. Led astray.
All you getting is a large fry.
Large fry. Yo, I remember, but it's crazy though, because I remember and it wasn't even like no black people went out. I think I did watch a little bit, and I saw the one black lady out of all the people that won, and she looked like
she was a Christian woman too, man. It was so sad how they did her, man. She was a sweet lady. Like her name was Gloria. I can't remember her last name. But basically what happened was Uncle Jerry approached her. He was all sweet to her, like, yeah, I can get you some money. I can get you this. And I could do this, that, and the third. Made her mortgage her house to pay the first payment for winning $1 million. When she started getting the payments for $1 million, she had to give him half on top of taxes. So she was only getting maybe $10,000 out of supposed to be $50,000 a month. So I'm telling you, the whole thing was crazy, man. How they was doing these people. That's
crazy, man. That's crazy. You're right. You're thinking about like all the different scams, like the Bernie mad up. What it is, the Ponzi scam.
Oh, that was a movie.
So it's like crazy, man. It's just all those things you think that is usually like targeted to senior or elderly people, but it's like Hop is good because he don't eat meat, so he'll never go to McDonald's.
So he all right.
So this really don't matter to him. LB, you got kids, so you should know.
I go to McDonald's. My son don't eat McDonald's, bro.
Hey,
McDonald's, so y'all good. Look,
we'll go to Chick-fil-A. We'll go to Chick-fil-A every day if we need to. We don't eat McDonald's.
Hey, no lie though. On tour last year. I did have McDonald's, but there was nothing in.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. I had a McDonald's.
Feeling guilty?
Huh?
You feeling guilty?
You do because he over there like, oh Lord.
I have to confess. He feeling
guilty.
Big guilty.
Big guilty. Griddle, and I took that meat off, and I just had literally the bun and the egg, and I felt so convicted after.
Oh man! Oh my God!
That's crazy. That's crazy.
But to throw in a social buzz with one of my movies, man, McMillions, you got to go see it. Because my whole thing is just put in perspective how many big things going on in the world that could possibly be rigged. Like the lottery, that made me think about the lottery. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Y'all think the lottery rigged?
Yeah.
I said that too.
Have you ever won? You know anybody that's won?
No. I mean, I know somebody want to scratch off for $200.
My grandmother, a true story, man. My grandmother went to the big spin. She won.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she won like $100 and something thousand or something like that on the big spin.
Wow.
I mean, she got money. So that ain't nothing to her. Then
so it was already
by the time they take out taxes and she passed it out to all the grandchildren and stuff like that, she had but she did win, but I definitely think that, man, all that stuff, if it's not rigged, it's managed somehow.
Somehow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like the Monopoly, bro. Like the Monopoly, it made me think about when you go to, I think it's Albertsons and a couple of the supermarkets, right? And you got these big, all these. I done got about 1,000 pieces, and I could never put it all together. You got it. Come on, man.
That's true.
I mean, with that being said, though, so now because I see the Monopoly is out again with I don't know if it's McDonald's or whatever, but now is it? If it's not rigged, do you think that we have a better chance to win?
Hopefully, because let me clarify just so McDonald's don't try to sue me later. Okay. McDonald's didn't have nothing to do with it. What it was their marketing company that was manufacturing the pieces. That's how they were getting to. Man, it's deep, man. Y'all got to see it.
It's a movie or is it like a series?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a series. It's a 6-part, I think 6-7 part series.
Okay, and what's the name of it again?
McMillions. It's on Hulu. You got to see it if you haven't seen it. So now that we started with a little bit of movie, even though we're gonna get to the rest later, Hop, tell them what you got for them.
Oh man, so look, as you all know, I'm always the music guy. We in our speaker box. This speaker box is dedicated to pretty much anybody that we've coming up. I'm sure some of us were probably born to these guys. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna tip my hat to the old school because they've been kind of helping me out. Now, when I'm talking about old school, I'm gonna start naming some names, and I know LB knows some of these songs because he was here when Moses walked the earth.
Wait a minute.
Moses.
Hey,
he got the Moses.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. Wait, hold on.
I know.
He got the Moses Crocs. Of course he was.
He got the Moses Crocs. You know what I'm saying?
The LB42.
The Airbnb Gel 42. So when I'm talking about groups, though, I'm talking about groups like the Gap Band, You Dropped the Bomb on Me, right? The Whispers, the Temptation, Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan. Let me Khan.
Hey.
But not least the king of pop himself, Michael Jackson. I'm paying homage to these guys because some young people might be listening. They like, I don't even know who these people are. If you got Spotify, YouTube, please, their music is timeless. We grew up on them. I was made to some of these guys, preferably. And
I was made to gospel music.
They made it gospel, and you was made the gospel.
Well, I don't know about all that now.
My dad's a pastor. I was made to gospel music. I think so. I think so anyway.
You stupid, man.
But these five, well, 3 groups and then 2 artists are super revolutionary, and they've changed the game in history. And this is what's in my speaker box and what I'm listening to currently as I'm driving to get my essentials from the Okay. So really quick before I pass it along, is any of these groups and any of these artists like bring any back memories for you guys?
Always.
All of them.
Oh man, Uncle Charlie. Last name Wilson.
Wilson? Right.
And he's still jamming to this day, man. He's still jamming to this day.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
So
everything you listening to in radio, whether they know it or not, that's a sample. That's a reference. So yeah, every day I hear.
We wouldn't be where we are today in music without those people.
Absolutely.
Just a fact, man.
Absolutely.
Hey, homage. Well, that is what's in my speaker box. Ziggy, what we got on Capitol Hill?
Oh man, Capitol Hill.
I'm just a bill. Yeah, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill.
Sound like you went to Broadway. Sound like you went to Broadway, not Capitol Hill.
Well, I'm gonna keep it quick and dirty, you know, because so of course we know that the states are slowly starting to open back up. Trump has been having tons of press conferences for what reason, I don't know, besides propaganda. However, you know, Florida, Jacksonville, Florida. Shout out to Florida.
But not shout out to what they're doing.
Yeah, Florida and Texas have both decided to start to open up their state in phases. I.e. one opening up beaches, which is super crazy to me because how can you not have large gatherings later on, but now you want to open up beaches where people are ideally going to be close. But when you think about it, the states that are opening up are ideally what? Red states. Yeah. So, but that just goes to show, I think we talked about this in previous episodes, make sure that you vote for your local and state government because these are the people who really in the Constitution can decide how your state is going to move forward. Yes, the president oversees things, but your state and your local government are the people that you need to make sure that you can trust and put your lives in your kids' hands in because they're going to be the people that advocate for you. So as you see, Florida mayor people and Texas people, they're not advocating for you. It's all about economic stability, not about your lives. So with that being said, oh well. What you got in movies, Antonio?
Wait, man, you can't just grace over that.
No, man. Oh well. I mean, if you voted for the person, or if you didn't vote, then that's what you get. That's what happens.
That's true. That's
but let me say this, man. Let me say this. And this is serious. This is serious.
Okay.
I noticed you don't have your glasses on today, Ziggy. And I thought that your intellect was tied to your glasses, but I must say, man, without your glasses on too. So
he don't need the frames.
That was great, man. I'm glad you Capitol Hill. It was amazing.
Hey, I had them on.
What you got in movies, man?
They were in my hand. So you still had the power. He cheated. Look, he still had the power. He just didn't want to have them on. You are crazy, man.
I'm here if I get dumb again.
Look, well, hopefully they make a movie about this pandemic one day and we get a good, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully they make a movie about it. That would actually be a really good movie. But I already gave y'all one of my top movies for Netflix. Well, Quarantine and Chill, I should say. Yeah. I already gave y'all one of them, which is McMillions. Check that out on Hulu. My second one that we got today is called Little Fires Everywhere. It's starring Carrie Washington and Reese. Oh, see, I knew my brother was going to know. Brother, listen, tell people that show. So listen, I'm going to give you a quick synopsis of the show. Basically, the show is about this rich Caucasian woman who played Reese Witherspoon plays, and then a black woman who is Kerry Washington, who is supposedly poor. So what happens is she living like a poor woman. This white lady let her live in her home. they start treating each other's daughters like their own. And then let me just say, things start getting twisted, secrets start getting revealed, people start getting dragged in, and babies start getting taken away from other people. And listen, little fires everywhere. Shout out to, I think that's Hulu. Shout out to Hulu. It's an amazing show. Hop, I know you've seen it. What you thought about it?
Oh, bro, we watched it last night. Actually, we
You stuck right now. I ain't finished yet. I'm still.
Hey, bro. Hey, I like it. I like it, but I'm just put this out there. And I love you, Kerry Washington. Uh-oh. I'm just tired of seeing Olivia Pope in all due respect. I love you, Kerry, but give me a different mood. Give me a different type of energy. If I got to see that Olivia Pope thing one more time,
Zig, you got an agreement from the choir over there.
Okay, right, good. Thank you, Mel. Thank you.
So anyway, you got one agreement. Listen, you can't go wrong with Kerry Washington, man. Now, number 3 we got on the list. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a new show. It's from Kenya Harris, I think his name is. It's called, I can't say the word because we all, I'm going to keep it holy. It's Black AF on Netflix.
Okay.
It's basically, I'm trying to see what I can compare it to. It's very bad. It's amazing how they mix comedy with wit. The wit of the show is very amazing, and I love the wit of the show and the comedy. And then it's definitely Black AF. So for all my Black people, please go see it. Let's support, anything Black, I support anyway. So let's support. Now, number 4, Netflix. Y'all know I like social experiments. Y'all like social experiments, like shows that are about social experiences?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so on Netflix, they got a new show that's called Too Hot to Handle. So what they do is they bring a group of basically beautiful people together. But the twist is they think they come in for a summer of just leisure. They can do what they want to do. The twist is they can't have no kind of sexual contact. They can't kiss. $100,000 on the line. So this is testing people to see how far they can go to, not do nothing to make deeper connections and kind of really figure out on a deeper level than the sexual level. So it's interesting to see these people because everybody on the show is cocky. They all like, nah, I'm that person. I could dance. But it's crazy. You please watch it. It's crazy. I like social experiments, so it's definitely one to watch on Netflix.
And it's crazy because they can't even have sexual anything with themselves.
Nothing. Yeah, wow. Yeah.
You can't do nothing. Like
4 weeks.
Nothing. And that it seems crazy. I'm just gonna say it seems crazy.
4 weeks.
Exactly. Basically. And then last on my list before I get out of here with quarantine and chill it's called Big Time Adolescence. I don't know if y'all seen it. It's on Hulu. It's about this dude. He like 23 years old. He hanging with his ex-girlfriend's younger brother, 16. Basically, he destroying this man's life. He getting them tatted. He getting them on drugs. He got them selling drugs. He got the cops after him. And it basically shows how one person can destroy another person's life, but they can always come back around and say, you know what, that wasn't life I was meant to live, and figure things out for themselves as they grow up. So, man, it's an amazing movie. If you ain't seen it, go see it.
Yeah, and that's starring Pete Davidson, right?
Pete Davidson. Yeah,
I saw it. Yeah, Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
Ariana Grande's ex.
So yeah, that movie might have shed some light on some stuff for them then, maybe. But if you ain't seen it, Quarantine and Chill, those are my list. Make sure you go see it. Please go see them.
Yeah, Lord.
So did you finish Ozark yet?
I ain't finished it yet. Listen, I'm LB. This is my thing.
That's what
I'm saying. I literally got a queue of like 50 things to watch. I watch so many shows and movies, man. I got a list. It's in my queue. It's coming down the queue.
Yeah,
it's coming.
Okay. All right. But that was some good. That was a good list of movies. We'll definitely be checking them out. So
please do.
And for me, of course, we end with a quote.
Quote of the
day. The quote of the day. Where's the candle, man? You got to bring the candle. You ain't got your candle?
I got something a little better.
Man.
Here we go.
Thank you, Antonio.
I got you.
Lighter.
I got you ready.
That'll work.
I got your back.
See, everybody got your back, bro.
We got you.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. So the quote of the day is this: if you cannot do great things, then do small things in a great way.
Oh,
hey. One more time for the people in the
back.
One more time. If you cannot do great things, do small things in a great way.
Hey.
Listen,
yeah. I mean, what y'all think about that, man? What y'all think about that?
You can't do great things, do small things in a great way.
I think that I think that things that go back to massive. What people say, jack of all trades, master of nothing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You do all this stuff, but you ain't mastered not one thing.
Yeah. You suck at all of them.
It's
you ain't put no time into them.
You know what? Hey, it's just like being in a band. You remember that person who on the orchestra, you go to concert band, and then everybody wait for that one hit, that one crash from the cymbal. But that's the thing that take it to the next level. But everybody else around the beating, everybody waiting, anticipating that one crash or that triangle. That.
Well, I think it just means, man, just my interpretation of it is just really just take your time. You know what I mean? Just slow the hell down and do one thing. Literally do one thing at a time. As opposed to trying to do 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 different things and try to do them all. Do them. You're intending to be great, but maybe you end up, you end up with mediocrity. You know what I mean? So just take your time and just take one thing at a time and be great at that. Master that, and then move on to the next thing.
Just slow down.
Hey,
I just want to get
good segue.
Right. Hey, speaking of which, we gotta let our viewers know. First of all, thank you so much for tuning in, because we would not be here without you. We would not do this if it wasn't for you. We love each other, but we don't want to be talking to nobody. We talking to y'all. Hey. We have an incredible guest that is coming on our show by the name of Bob Robinson. And it's going to be a great show.
Legend, man.
Yeah. Legend.
Yep. So stay tuned.
Soundtracks of your lives.
Hey.
No life.
Your life. And your life.
You would be here without us. Yeah.
Oh, well, stay tuned, guys. Bob Robinson will be back with us soon. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
The legend himself.
Yes, sir.
Hey. What's up, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What's up, man?
Thank you so much, man, for joining us, man. Let me introduce you to my fellas real quick. The host of the show, we have Antonio Ramsey.
Hey,
Mr. Funk
up,
Trap.
AKA Mr. Funk Trap. How you doing?
Pleasure to meet you.
Yes, sir. We got Mr. Hop up here in the LA hat.
How you doing, sir?
And then we got the smartest guy of the group, that's Ziggy.
What up?
What's up, man?
What's good?
How are you? Pleasure to meet you.
Man.
Thank you guys for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Of course. So, man, let's jump right in. We have a segment on the show, where we talk about, music and what's on the playlist and stuff like that Hop curates. And so we go ask you this really quick. What are you listening to right now in your on your playlist? What are you listening to?
Yeah.
You listen to all your records that you've done?
No.
Those gems. Cut the gems.
Hey, you'd be surprised, man. I listen to some different stuff. I listen to a lot of. Well, right now I'm listening to a lot of. I'm always listening to old jazz back in the day. A lot of Miles, a lot of Coltrane and all that stuff. And so, but I go through phases. Sometimes I'll just listen to Led Zeppelin for a month. That's all I listen to, or I'll just listen to Portishead, or I'll just listen to Earth, Wind and Fire. Like it's just different. So, but lately, and a lot of times what I do, I'll zone into one particular artist, and I may not be that familiar with their catalog, so I'll just go through all their records. But right now, some of the main things I listen to. I listen to a lot of bossa nova, Joao Gilberto. It's a lot of different things. I listen to a lot of Clare Fischer. I don't know if you guys are familiar with her.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Strings.
Yeah.
All the strings for man.
There we go.
Come on, man.
There we go.
Right. Come on, man.
So I'll listen to anything with. I'm studying a lot of stuff I didn't know that Clare did back in the day. So I'm listening to a lot of his stuff, man. And I listen to a lot of the current things playing as well too. my kids, I have to call my kids and say, hey, what should I listen to? Like my daughter Trinity or my son Dylan, I'm like, Trinity, what should I listen to? Oh, Dad, hold on, let me see in this playlist. They keep me up on everything. You know, they're two college students, and so they keep me up on everything, man. So that I depend on them heavily for that. But yeah, like I'm listening to a lot of Nicola Conti. I still listen to a lot of Sam Cooke. I mean, it just really just depends, man. Or I'll listen to Tribe all day, like Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah.
It just depends, man. Slum Village, Dilla. Like I'll go around to different things, man.
Wow, man.
Are you pulling, like when you're listening to all these artists, I mean, you literally just went around the world, literally.
Right.
Because I mean, you're very, very well-rounded as a producer, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But are you pulling something? Are you looking for something in particular when you're listening to this music? Are you just trying to just, I mean, what are you doing?
Absolutely. When I listen to a lot of stuff with Clare, like I'll listen to, it might be like a piece of a chord, because this stuff is so intricate, man, but it might be a piece of a chord progression that I might want to sample. Same thing that goes, like if I listen to a lot of Dilla stuff, or if I listen to, Tribe or Madlib, whatever, it just depends, man. Because sometimes I'll just want to sample, and I'll go through a bunch of records and just look for stuff to sample. A lot of times, I'll listen to, it's interesting, like I'll listen to Dilla if I want to be inspired to write something like melancholy sometimes, because a lot of his music just feels so melancholy to me. Like even Fall in Love, which is arguably, one of his dopest records he's ever done. That's so melancholy to me. Like, but that's my favorite joint from him. So sometimes I'll listen to something that's opposite of where I'm trying to go. It's weird, man.
I heard that.
It can be weird. But a lot of times I'm looking for stuff to sample, looking for things that might have a dope texture in it that I say, okay, I could sample this, and then I could run this through a filter.
Yeah.
Then I can see how this sound reversed, because the texture might change reversed. Mm-hmm. And so it could be for a sampling thing, or sometimes I just want to just feel inspired, or I just want to learn. A lot of times as producers, or in writers, we think that we're always supposed to be doing music. But a lot of times it's good to just listen, man, and study and be a student, continue to be a student, and find ways to actually simplify what we're doing as writers and musicians or producers. I'll challenge myself to make the simplest, dopest record I can possibly make. And because I think if you can make a record that's super dope but super simple, like that's harder than making a complicated record to me. It's it's kind of like when you, it's funny because I have a couple of friends that are filmmakers, and they look at what I do in awe, and I'm looking at them like, wow, that's crazy. You guys do films, like that's so dope. Yeah. But they find it fascinating that what we do, you can condense a whole story into 3 minutes. Wow. Because a lot of times they feel 2 hours isn't enough. They like, how do you guys tell a story in 3 minutes? That's just so fascinating. And I'm like, man, how do you guys, every single scene, like all the everything that goes into every single scene, like it's so much. Like just to set up a room will take a whole day to set up a room, that the scene will be like 3 seconds in a movie, if that, and so I just ultimately, I just try to remain a student is what I'm saying in the big scheme of things. Just remain a student and be open to learning. Look for things like, it depends, again, it depends if I'm in a sampling mood, if I'm in a writing mood, or if I'm, in a guitar mood. If I want to do something that feels like Raphael Saadiq, like I'll listen to Raphael. I listen to a ton of Raphael. It's weird. I've been listening to a lot of D'Angelo lately. I don't know what it is. I've been pulling up a lot of D'Angelo concerts, live and concert stuff. Man, I already had the utmost respect for him, but man, D'Angelo is a serious dude, man. Yeah. Like I was looking at videos from 20 years ago, and I'm like, what? Like to me, Send It On, his live version of Send It On that he did like 20 years ago was one of the sickest live performances. Like his band, how tight everybody was on point, the way it sounded, like it was. So I've been listening to a lot of D'Angelo actually.
So Bob, question for you, man. Like talking in the production vein, man. I think it goes without saying that I don't want to assume, but I have a question for you. It's a two-part.
Okay.
I wanted to know, coming up, were you a solo producer, right? And it seems, by the way, you're talking that that's a yes. But in your career and kind of getting to that height of your career, being a solo producer, when did you know it was time to necessarily change gears and maybe team up with someone to work with to now take your career to the next level? And then kind of, when did you know if it was time to shift back to doing your own thing?
Actually, started off, Tim is the one that actually introduced me to producing. Tim was the first one to mention to me, like, yo, man, you need to get into producing. I was 16 or 17. And Tim was 19 when we first met. And we come from a small town, Peoria, Illinois. So Tim's dad used to cut my hair since I was shorty, And so, because Tim's dad, rest in peace, John, his father, he used to cut everyone's hair in our town. Yeah. And so, but I didn't meet Tim until I was like 16 or 17. But we knew who each other was, because in our little town, I was regarded as, oh yeah, Bob, that's the dude. He dope on the organ. Yo, Bob, he shedding, blah blah blah. Tim was known for having like all the flashy cars back then. Like Tim had this Impala. Tim had this Impala that was sick. And so like Tim was, he was known for his flashy cars. Him and his brother, and so and they were known for having bands and stuff because Tim's father was in a band that was kind of like it wasn't a tribute band, but they was like a kind of like a tribute band to Earth, Wind and Fire. They were dope. So anyway, when we first met, I was more from the musician side. I played in a bunch of bands. I was always playing in church gigs, and so but he was like, yo, you ever produce? I'm like, nah, I don't. He's like, what? You won't never? Man, that's where it's at, man. You gotta get into producing. And that's the thing that kind of like brought us together. Yeah. Because he started like, man, let me show you, because he had a ton of albums, tons of albums. And so and I was coming from, my dad was a pastor. I'm a preacher kid, so
PK.
There was right. Yeah. So there was no playing secular music in the crib while my dad was home. So, so a lot of music I wasn't really introduced until, like, I knew the stuff that you would hear on radio, like DeBarge, All This Love, or something like that. The pop stuff, because in our town, all they had was pop radio. There was no urban radio. But that was to my advantage, I believe, as a writer, to grow up on top 40 music. I wouldn't have had it no other way. But so Tim is the one that introduced me to producing. And so that's where it started. Where Tim didn't know was, Tim had never heard of guys like Commission. Mm-hmm. So he was like, Commission, who is that? I was like, you ain't up on Commission? So then I played him Ordinary. He was just like, yeah. You know what I mean? And so played him Ordinary, and I played him, Life That Shows, played him, records like, all the Commission. Yeah. That's my favorite, group in life. So, but anyway, so that was the thing. We were like, he wasn't familiar with that side of gospel, where the amazing songs are, the old Andre Crouch records, like it's a lot of stuff he wasn't. So he was fascinated by that, and I was fascinated by stuff he was showing me, like Isley Brothers, like not everybody heard Between the Sheets, but not everybody heard Sensuality. You know what I mean? He was showing me. He was like, he taught me a lot about, nah, man, you gotta look on the B-sides, man. Don't just listen to what's playing on the radio. Listen, like, he the one really first got me in that mindset when I was like, 17, looking for the songs that people don't listen to. yeah, man, you ain't never heard this? And he put a record on. I'm like, whoa. You know, so yeah.
You mentioned a lot of big names. You mentioned a lot of big names. So I got a quick question for you because I gotta know.
Okay.
Has there ever been one artist that you've been just starstruck by? Because you work with the best of them. So has there been that one artist that just made you starstruck? Like, oh, I can't believe I'm working with this person.
You someone that we worked with, or someone that we haven't worked with? Are you saying someone that we worked with?
Well, let's do it like this: someone that you have worked with, and someone that you want to work with that would make you starstruck. Let's go ahead and do both.
Well, as far as that we haven't worked with, you know, probably at the top of that is Janet, man, because like a couple different times we were supposed to work with Janet, and we would hit up Jimmy and Terry like, man, please let us on this album, man. Yeah, send us some records. We send them some records. Man, this ain't really what we looking for, man. And I'm going to say this respectfully. I don't think that, and I think it's funny because we actually had this conversation with Jimmy and Terry, because that's something that happened. It was like, nah, we don't. That's not what we're really looking for. And then on the album, there was a song on there that was pretty much a replica of one of the songs we had played them, because we were both working at the record plant, and they was in one room with Janet, and we was in the room working on one of our artists at the time for like a month straight. So we would see Jimmy and Terry every day.
Wow.
And so and we was playing each other records, and so it was to the point that the president of DreamWorks at the time, which we had a lot of dealings with him at that time, he was like, you guys need to sue them. This is unfair. You guys work too hard. We was like, man, these are you crazy? Like, we took that as the biggest compliment ever.
Yeah.
And so, but we actually spoke to them. We all like was in the room talking about it, and they was like, we ain't gonna lie, man, that one joint y'all did on such and such, that was the inspiration for that. And we was like, really? Whoa. We was like, actually, okay, we talking about it. That one that we did on Boys and Men, we was thinking about y'all on this. So to sit and have that conversation with these guys that, man, we so like try to emulate, you know, throughout our whole career, man, it was like beyond flattering, you know what I mean? Very humbling. And for the guys you look up to like that, to be like, man, nah, we be peeping y'all. Don't even worry. Like,
that's
like,
amazing,
that's
man.
Yeah. And so, but as far as who we have worked with, I gotta be honest. One of them is definitely Clare Fischer, and I know he's not an artist per se, but to be in a room with someone whose mind is like that, like, and he actually set us down, because I said, Clare, well, we both was asking him, how do you hear the things that you hear, man? Like, how do you and he was like, simple. You know, most people play this basic chord like this. I play it like this. And he does these different inversions. Like, say if you have a regular C chord, C, E, and a G. He don't play C, E, G. He'll play C, G, E. The higher octave. Like, the way he hears different inflections of chords, I was like, that's how you do it. He's like, that's my secret. Most people will play this. He said, most people will play this A minor chord like this. I'll play it like this. Oh, no, he actually do, like he said, some people play it like this. Almost no one plays it like this. No one plays it like this. And I was like, oh, that's how he's like
knowledge, man.
Again,
that's
I don't know
smart,
if
man.
I don't know if y'all have ever like really listened to some Clare Fischer arrangements, but it's stuff it will like it, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Clare Fischer. Shout out to
Clare Fischer. Rest in peace. Clare, his son Brent Fischer is now like taking over where Clare left off. And man. But let me think of an artist. I would say artist that I'm most in awe of. Vocally, I had to say Joe.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Joe, King, man.
Respect.
Joe
Respect,
doesn't.
King
He
Joe.
just doesn't go off key. It's not gonna happen.
That was one of the best R&B voices of like all time.
And
Joe's voice is so clean.
Yeah.
And when you get the track up and you know after we wrote the joints and he's like, okay, all right, let's start with the hook. He'll go in there, or I'm sorry, say if you on the verses and we go to the verses, he'll sing it down perfectly. And they'd be like, oh, okay, cool. Let's, okay, we getting it. And he'll sing it down 30 times. We're like, Joe, every one of these takes are perfect. Like his warm-up takes will just,
I love Joe.
It'll just blow your mind. So Joe, vocally, I would say Joe, but
that's amazing, man.
You know,
again,
I gotta
work
say,
with all of them.
Yeah, and I gotta say, man, working with Boyz II Men at the time that we worked with Boyz II Men, you know, they were the biggest band in the world, and the way that we recorded that 2 album, it was like we started in Philly, then we went out to Reno, Nevada, then we came to LA, then we went down to Florida. Like we was just, it was just crazy, and they trusted us the way they trusted us. Like if people could hear the songs that didn't make their album, man, they could release another album right now, the songs that didn't make that 2 album. Like we did this one song called Trying to Let You Go. Oh my God, just a ballad, piano and strings, live
classics.
We did a wedding song. It was crazy, man. Like a lot of songs that didn't make it. So I would have to say Boyz II Men is up there too, man, because of what was going on at the time. But you know, and I will say when we were working with Will Smith, it was pretty crazy because we worked with him at his home. And so and a couple things amazing happened. One thing amazing in particular, like we would be working, and this was like, you know, probably about 10, 12 years ago. So his kids were much smaller. And every night at 9 o'clock, you know, we'd be working here in the booth. Hold on, what time is it? 8:58. Hold on 1 second, hold on. And he go put his kids to sleep.
Wow.
30 more minutes, he come back in. All right, cool, let's go. And I thought that was so amazing, you know. And it's such a great example as a father, like me being a father, that my kids were small at the time too. But the fact that, you know, we were sitting in this place and I'm like, man, this is Will Smith's crib. Man, this is crazy. Like that's his kitchen and it's his garage with his Rolls Royces in it. Like,
speaking of that, Bob, like, which is so crazy, man, and not crazy, and it's definitely an honor. Like you've done so much, and you still have humility, even looking around of everything that you've experienced. And you know, some people are just hitting the iceberg, and you've done so much and still have so much humility. You know, discovering 112, 300 million records sold worldwide later on, like the biggest producer duo to influence the Atlanta music scene. And then, you know, a lot of people want to know, and then Tim and Bob part ways. What was that like for you? Because it happens, you know,
right.
And you know, still now you have humility. Still now you speak with Tim with the utmost respect, and I appreciate that, man. That just shows a lot about who you are as a man and your integrity. But you know, tell us about that.
Well, you know, it was. I'll just say this because, you know, a lot of people probably don't know, but it was about 6 years that we, you know, were really on bad terms. And so it's crazy. When this coronavirus hit, a mutual friend of ours reached out to both of us on a text and sent the most beautiful text, you know, saying about, you know, you guys' music have touched so many people, you know, your songs, people have got married to your songs, and people have, you know, their lives have been changed through your music over the years. And, you know, and how would you guys really like your legacy to be written and how it went? Like, whatever happened with you guys, I really hope you guys, when they could put it behind yourself and put it behind and just be friends, be cordial. And her text really, really touched me and spoke to me. And so that was the catalyst to kind of bridge the communication again with us. And so, yeah, it's been pretty crazy, but I guess the best way to put it is, like, a lot of times, man, like, if you being friends for 30 years, over 30 years, 32 years, you know, you get to the point, and it's funny, I was on a podcast interview last night, and I said, sometimes you just get tired of each other, man. Like, we lived with each other for like 12 years straight, man. Yeah. Like, that's just like living in the same space, you know, and so So to be business partners and have a friendship, and it spans like 30 years, you're gonna get to the point where you're gonna want to do different things, and you're gonna be on different pages a lot, and you know, it's just one of those things. It was just time for me to go this way, and time for him to go that way. In a lot of ways we're very similar, but in a lot of ways we're very different, even from a creative standpoint. But I think that's the thing that's beautiful, that brings our music to where it is in terms of the different influences that go into our music. Because we actually come, even though we come from the same place, Peoria, Illinois, we kind of come from two different places creatively. And that's fine. That's one of the things I think, like I said, has helped create that Tim and Bob sound, so to speak. But you know, I will say it's good to be back in touch with him again, and to be able to look at our path and look back like, wow, that's pretty cool. You know, we rode into Atlanta December 31st, 1992. I had like $65 in my pocket. He probably had $80 in his pocket. Wow. We didn't know a soul. We didn't know Dallas. Dallas had never heard of us. And we found a way to arrive here where we are today. Like, and that's how it happened. And I mean, and just getting to that night, driving to Atlanta, and we were just sitting at his crib in Peoria, like, hey man, let's just go just try to meet Dallas. We ain't got nothing to lose. We ain't got nothing to lose. All right, let's go. So check this out. We didn't have no money, so he called his mom. Was like, hey mom, can I have $100, $200? We about to drive to Atlanta. She's like, you're going to Atlanta? Who y'all gonna stay with? We don't know. We're gonna figure it out when we get there. And so and I called my uncle. My uncle had to call his friend. His friend Reese gave me $75. And so, and we got on the highway, 10-hour drive. We got to Atlanta and was like, okay, we're here. And it's New Year's Eve. So it's New Year's Eve and everyone's about to start partying and everything.
They all lit.
And so we're like, okay, where do we go now? So we go to a random hotel, and he called his mom. I called my mom. Now, mind you, at this time, because I left a part out. Before we moved to Atlanta, we were living in Detroit. But I moved to Detroit first because I had the honor of being asked to play the organ at Aretha Franklin's church, her father's church. Yeah, and so anyway, that's a whole other story in itself. But to fast forward, so that night we're at the hotel, we're calling our parents. My mom think I'm still in Detroit. She don't even know I left Detroit.
Lord.
I'm like, Mom, just so you know, I'm in Atlanta. I know this sounds really confusing. I don't know what's going on. I'm just following what I believe right now. I'm just following what I believe, and you know, just trust me. I'm okay. I'm fine. I don't want you to worry about me. I just want you to know I'm in Atlanta. She was like, okay. Keep in touch with me, and you know, because this was before cell phones, you know. Yeah. So yeah, man. And so when I think about those kind of moments, you know, and then I, and you know, if I'm somewhere and I hear one of my songs, I'm like, wow, that's cool. And so, you know, it gives me a great feeling. And even when we wasn't in contact with each other, you know, the love was always there, and the endearment was always there. And so, it's just life lessons, man. And you know, I'm far from perfect. He's far from perfect. And so we both have the same common goal, man. We wanna feed our babies and do music, you know. And so you know, that's really it's definitely been different, you know, because a lot of times people didn't know that we didn't work together anymore. So I would go somewhere, yo, what's up, man? Where you, man? How y'all doing, man? What y'all working on? I'm like, well, you know, we work separately. So you have to tell everything to people and explain. Y'all not working on it. What happened, man? What happened? Like, it's just, you know, it was time, man. It was just time, you know. And so, but what I've ultimately learned is there's Tim's version of what happened. There's my version, and then there's the truth.
The truth, right?
And I leave it at that. And so, but you know, it's nothing but love and respect. The love and respect is there, and I think now is a cool time because you know we get to do different things. Like he's at a label now, working at a label. I manage a couple producers between here and Atlanta, and you know, even though my kids, it's interesting. Even though my kids are in college now, like I feel like I see my kids more now than I did when they were little babies. Yeah. And it's amazing what's going on in their lives. You know, my son, you know, he's doing his music thing, and he has a bright future ahead of him, and he's also, you know, honor student. Both my kids are honor students and stuff, so I'm very proud of them, and I'm very involved in their lives. And so I try to just keep a balance with everything these days, and you know, I don't, you know, I'll be honest, I don't burn the midnight oil like I used to. But it's weird because I prefer working 6, 7 in the morning. That's my time to work. I love I get up every morning, probably 4:35 in the morning.
Ooh.
That's my
early there.
Yeah.
That's when that's when the Saints get up in the morning and pray, man.
That's prayer time.
I'm up every morning. It's dark every time I wake up. Sheesh. If I wake up and the sun is out, I'm like, whoa,
you late.
I overslept. So I work differently these days, and so and I don't necessarily work on a ton of things. I just work on projects that I'm drawn to, and you know, that's it. Like if someone wants to work with me, 9 times out of 10 I'll work with that artist.
Look, you see, I put my finger up now. I wonder, you said it. The Lord said, ask and you shall answer.
You have not because you ask not, right?
Ask not. Now, you said you wake up when the saints wake up, so that's already a good thing.
right, yeah, man. It's weird. I guess, I don't know. I guess I'm in that way, I'm very unpredictable and like unassuming. Like people wouldn't expect that I would work with some of the people that I work with.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it, man. I don't know. It's weird, man. It's this path I'm on, I guess.
You've been a blessing, man. You've been a blessing to others. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Hey,
I appreciate it.
Let me ask you this, man. You know, you got Swizz and you got Tim. You know, they have this versus thing. So, versus challenge. So, if you and your counterpart, Tim, go against any producing duo or producers or whatever, who would it be? Who do you think
that's interesting? Because they're trying to put together. I don't know, like I think Tyrese. No. Like Tyrese apparently, I don't know how actively he's trying to do it, but Tyrese was trying to put together a thing with us and versus the underdogs. And so, you know, who I have the utmost respect for. You know, shout out to the underdogs.
Damon Thomas.
And so,
I love your humility, Bob.
And Harvey.
He ain't got no hits, man. He like, you know, that cool. Thong song. You can shut anything down with the Thong song.
Hey, but I got you, man.
Y'all crazy, cool. Man. No. I have the utmost respect for both of those guys, man.
So we got one last question for you.
Okay.
All right. So from your experience and your perspective as a what I would say a top dog, someone with several years of experience, my uncle had to get on me about that one time. I told him, you know, thank you for your advice. My uncle said, man, I can't give you no advice, man. This is from experience. I was like, okay, sorry. So from your experience, your standpoint, and you know, you working with the creme de la creme, the best of the best. Do you think from your vantage point, do you think the integrity and the essence of R&B is in good hands?
Why you put all that pressure on
me? Because we've had this
Welcome
dialogue.
to the Social Cypher.
Welcome to the Social Cypher Podcast, right? Man, because we've had this dialogue, and I think for me personally, I can't speak for nobody else, but for me personally, I manage artists too, and you know, I actually manage Antonio. He's an R&B artist, but the thing is, and you keep hearing this thing about shameful plug. No, you hear this thing about adult contemporary soul, and which is it kind of sometimes it bothers me at times when you think about and you hear kind of where R&B has come from. We get the times have changed.
Right,
I get it, right? But LB and I, we use this word all the time: integrity. But when you think about the integrity of it, when you think about where it's gone, where it's been, where it's going, where it is right now, where it's going, what's your thoughts on that, man?
Okay, my thoughts on it is, I'll give an example. It's kind of like similar when the whole internet thing came in and then everything went digital and everyone was like, man, the internet that messed up the music industry, man. You can't buy albums anymore. Everybody's streaming, when the whole streaming platforms came in. Mm-hmm. I personally saw it different. I saw that I thought the internet was the best thing that could have happened to the music business. If you look at what it's different things that it spawned in terms of different platforms, the awareness, you can do a song now. Your people in China can hear it in 2 minutes, in the same minute, or your people in Japan or someone in Brazil. I think it creates a lot more awareness now, what's the possibilities are opened up. So to answer your question, I feel that it's fine because, for example, when and I have to, like your uncle, I have to speak from experience. When They Don't Know came out, at the time, nothing but up-tempos was dominating radio.
Yeah.
Up-tempos, a bunch of up-tempos. Like if I was closer to my studio, I would go up there and show you. But on the wall, it was all up-tempos. So then when this ballad came through, it cut through like a knife. It was so different than everything.
Yeah.
Thong Song was so different than everything.
Mm-hmm.
When it came out,
mm-hmm.
Slow Down was so different than everything. I see moments like that as opportunity to challenge myself, or for that producer or that writer to challenge yourself to come in and stick out like a sore thumb right now, but in the best of ways. So that's how I see that. I see it as opportunity. I don't see it as, R&B we got to bring R&B back.
It ain't went nowhere.
Why has it gone anywhere?
That's good, B.
Just look at Chris Brown's achievements. Do you think he's sitting saying, man, I gotta bring R&B back? Look at what he's achieved. Right. Or take anyone that has a great amount of success right now and ask them, is R&B messed up right now? Even Drake. I think Drake is one of the best things that happened to R&B music. Just gonna say it. Yeah. He does R&B more than R&B people do R&B.
Yeah. We had
I think it's beautiful to have R&B in a different context. That's what's going on right now. It's R&B music. It's just in a different context. Yeah. And I think the older guys like myself, or even before, like the Teddys of the world or the baby faces of the world, I think it's important for us to embrace it, because that, I think, spawns more creativity. When the younger generation is feeling supported by the older guys, I think that encourages them to be more creative. So I think it's a good thing. And I'm actually a fan of a lot of the music that's going on. I understand when people is like, it's mumble this, and it's interesting because you can't do a rap record without melodies these days. Right? You can't do an R&B record without some kind of rapping in it.
Yes.
But actually you can. You just have to challenge yourself to do that one record that's going to just break through, because it's going to be different.
Go against the grain. You can't be afraid to go.
So that's, in a nutshell, that's my initial thoughts on that question.
That's good. That's love. Good. That's love.
It's my humble opinion. So. Yeah, man.
As you've been,
let me ask you, what do you guys think of the current state of what's going on? What do you guys think?
Antonio,
I'll start. For me, I love the classics. I love old school R&B, 90s R&B. Like, that's the stuff that I love. That's true to my soul. I'm also from Florida. Shout out to Miami, West Palm Beach. So I also love that trap element, that down south. So for me, I had to embrace that I can love both and try to create my own sound. Now with today's music,
there we go.
So
create
that's
your
why,
own sound. Yes.
Shout out to Funk Trap.
Be your own genre. You know,
definitely. So I had to find something that felt true to me that other people would have to catch on to. But with today's music, I feel like there is things that I like, but I do miss elements of what music used to be as well.
Right.
So that's why, like you said, I guess it's our duty to kind of bring that back into the forefront and let people know that it's still here. So
and trust me, I miss those days when there was a bridge in a song.
You know what I'm saying, man? Those
after the bridge, then they modulate.
Oh my goodness, man! It's nothing like it. Nothing like it.
Yes, speaking of which, you are, and I know we got to wrap this up. But speaking of which, you probably already know where I'm going to go. You know, one of my favorite artists that still is my favorite artist that you and Tim produce is Dave Hollister.
Oh, Dave Hollister.
Hey.
Oh,
hey,
man. Wait.
I mean,
Dave Hollister.
You know, we have this conversation. You have this conversation all the time, and you look at me the same way, like, all right, man, all right. But I'm a huge fan of Dave, and I'm a huge fan
me too.
of the work that you guys did with Dave. Speaking of, and it brought up memories because speaking of bridges, speaking of modulations and all these things, plus Dave was a church.
Oh yeah,
you know
exactly.
Yeah. We used to sing. We used to perform at the same church programs. That's how far we go.
Wow.
Like he was in this. I ain't gonna lie. We had this young group. We thought we was commissioned. Dave's group came to town because you know Dave was from Chicago.
Right.
Yo, they came there and slayed it. They did millions, didn't they? From Winans.
Oh, wow.
They shut down the whole thing. We was like, man.
Wow.
But yeah, Dave's a beast, man.
I love
That's
Dave.
amazing, man.
Beast.
Yeah,
Beast, man.
And
And
man.
They've been a beast since the 80s.
Wow.
I'm not exaggerating.
Dave is I got a whole playlist full of Dave in my and for just a playlist dedicated to Dave Hollister.
Man, I used to have recordings, the church recordings of him singing in church, just me sitting in church, you know, and pleasure record. You know, old school way you take a tape
recorder.
Man, it's like he sings to your soul, man. It's just like you hear those like that. You know,
I gotta say,
man.
I gotta say some of the funnest and some of the funnest sessions ever because Dave is he's so funny, man. Yeah, it was, you know.
Shout out to Dave Hollister.
Shout out to Dave. Hey, my day was officially made.
Come on.
Shout out to Dave Hollister.
Yes, sir.
Come
on. Yeah,
man.
Well, listen, B, we want to thank you so much, man, for taking out the time.
My pleasure, man.
Rap with us and just drop, as Antonio say, gems.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it, man. Let's do it again.
Please.
When you and Tim come back together again and make that record, man, we go bring y'all home. Man.
Absolutely, yeah.
Please.
We're gonna do it like it's a couple projects that'll be cool.
That's great, man.
That we're probably gonna reconnect, you know, here and there.
Make sure that me and Hop can be one of those projects.
Absolutely.
My guys.
Well, check
Absolutely,
it out,
man.
You made it on the Social Cypher, man, and you are family. And we do this
family.
thing before
I
we
appreciate
get
it.
out. I just ask the question. I say, who are we? And we answer the question. We say the Social Cypher. So we're going to do that right now. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Ready, y'all? 1, 2, 3. Who are we?
The Social Cypher. Thanks for rocking with us, Bob.
Absolutely, man. My pleasure, man.
Take care.
Y'all be safe, man.
Be safe. No, man. Oh well. I mean, if you voted for the person, or if you didn't vote, then that's what you get.
I'm gonna tell you why you never win.
I won a large fiber photo.
That ain't winning, man. You can buy that.
Let me say this. And this is serious. This is serious.
Okay.
I noticed you don't have your glasses on today, Ziggy. And I thought that your intellect was tied to your glasses, but I must say, man, you might want to put your glasses on too. So
he don't need the frames.
That was great, man.
Tip my hat to the old school because they've been kind of helping me out. Now, when I'm talking about old school, I'm gonna start naming some names, and I know LB knows some of these songs because he was here when Moses walked the earth.
So different than everything.
Yeah.
Thong song was so different than everything.
Mm-hmm.
When it came out,
mm-hmm.
Slow Down was so different than everything. I see moments like that as opportunity to challenge myself, for that producer or that writer to challenge yourself to come in and stick out like a sore thumb right now, but in the best of ways.